So we're here, there's a shooting. There's riot cops running around, that's the LRAD. Reports are unclear. Somebody's definitely shot. Possibly a black man, possibly a white man. They're looking for a male suspect. That's the clear thing, is a male suspect that they're looking for. The march is, there's a march that's somewhere nearby, just went by, so I was catching up with it. And it very quickly, but there's riot cops all over the place. They had caution tape. It looks like there's some folks over here, but this is definitely not the march. The march was at least 200-300 strong, maybe 400. So I'm a couple blocks away from where the shooting was. It's a crime scene caution tape all around. But the riot police are out for the Black Lives Matter protesters. They were set up a half block over and then a half block after that. There's two cars that went the wrong way down one-way streets through the crowd. It looked like not attempting to do anything, but I mean, I don't know if they were from here. They're one-way streets. They went completely the wrong way. So I'm trying to catch up to where the march was. It's really loud down here. There's a lot of shit going on. From people I spoke to and stuff, the person who was shot, it seemed like there's definitely a chance that that person has passed away. I haven't heard anything that the shooter was caught either. So there's cops all over the place. And there was a lot of Trump vehicles with Trump flags not long ago gone through the area. So I'm right near Pioneer Square. So I'm gonna make my way back. Make my way back down this way. The riot police are seemingly zipping around following where protesters are. So I'm not seeing anything in the chat here. Maybe an issue. So I'm gonna make my way back down to the JC area and where the shooting was. So we're near the corner where the Apple store is. Or sorry, we're near, we're not. So yeah, we're about a block off from the Apple store. You can see the Nike store here. It's unclear if the shooter was, what the motive was. There were definitely people nearby. I'm sure there's video of the incident, but it's really choppy information right now. So you can see in the distance there, the lights. So I'm gonna follow the lights there. Pretty sure that's back where the general area of the shooting. So 90 plus days of sustained Black Lives Matter protests here in Portland, Oregon. This is Johnny Dangers reporting live on the ground. Did you catch where the march went?
That
The march?
last I heard was they were 5th of Pine.
5th. It's like that way. Okay. Cool. Thanks. So I'm gonna make my way back up with the march. I think they made an impromptu turn at Pioneer Square. They're moving real fast, but I'm gonna head up here. So you can see police van there near the scene. So the scene is cordoned off with caution tape. There was a larger crowd over here. Proud Boys. Joey Gibson was over here not long ago, causing a commotion. So it looks to be about 20 or so officers, about half of them, actually most all of them in riot gear. Not normal for a shooting investigation, obviously.
The snarky comments tonight? Where's Brent?
So you can see there's
You deserve like a medal. You deserve like a $2 medal.
so some police vehicles. Estimate closer to about 30 riot cops over here. So there's a lot. There's several other, at least 2 other riot cop vans going around the area. You can see. So I'm going to make my way this way and attempt to catch up to the march. I can see some flashing lights up here. You can see in the distance there, I'd say maybe about, 4 blocks up. So I got to assume that the march is in that general area. That's the only thing that would make sense. This is the area people were going. Details are still extremely sketchy and unclear about what happened to cause the shooting, who the shooter is, and who the victim is. I've heard mixed things multiple ways. So you can see this area is also cordoned off, about a block in each direction. Situation is definitely tense. So making my way, it looks like it's mostly stationary, so I gotta think I'm about 3 blocks away from the march. March is moving extremely fast earlier. So for those of you just tuning in, this is Johnny Dangerous reporting live on the ground in Portland, Oregon. 90 plus days of sustained Black Lives Matter protests. Today there was out in Clackamas, Oregon, about 45 minutes, give or take, from Portland, maybe 30, maybe around 45. There was a very large Trump rally with signs, flags, lots of big trucks, and then they caravanned to Portland. Some people were blocking some roads and streets. One was on the highway, which slowed down their entry, but they slowly got into downtown Portland, drove around caravanning. And you can still see some of the vehicles definitely seem like they're part of that group. So I'd say about 2 blocks away from the march now. As that was occurring downtown, basically immediately as I got, maybe 5 minutes before I arrived, I saw there was reports of a shooting. Shooting was maybe 2 blocks away from the Justice Center and the federal courthouse there, where people generally gather. Lots of confusion about what happened, how it happened. Sounds like I heard there was potentially a fight.
Just recording. That's all we ever do.
No, man, I don't want to be cat. Sorry, man.
You know, did the Black Lives Matter march pass here?
Yeah, they were on that road over there, but they went
They were going that, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay safe out here, man. So the march is down here where I see the lights. They were a block over, so that explains why I lost them, just real briefly. So I'm about a block away from the march now. You can see looks like maybe a medic there or something. So reports still unclear about the shooting. The body did look like it was moved by the time I made it to the scene. There's reports that it was a white man. There's reports that it was a black guy that was shot. Police did sound like say we're looking for a male shooter though. So that's more likely to be accurate. So I'm about a halfway from the lights, the blocks to the lights now. So until there's more confirmed facts, I don't want to, guess on these types of things in a serious situation. Did the march stop or stay here? Or?
They were following after
Joey Gibson.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains why I was going quick. Oh, it's just dark. I see people up there. So Joey Gibson was at where the shooting scene was. You can see the LRAD here, some riot police vans. Also see a food truck here on the right.
plastic tires. Just,
So helicopter overhead, likely for us. So making my way up here. Did what's his name go in there or something?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Excuse me?
let me make sure that we also have our
Pink shirt. She doesn't think Joey Gibson's a racist. The lady over here in the pink shirt.
So we're here at the Chevron station, several blocks down from the JC and the shooting site.
Hey, why don't you come out, Joey?
Probably about 20 officers.
You just want to talk.
I'll make sure you're safe. I don't let anybody fuck with you. But at the same time, like.
There's about 20 officers, I'd say, in the parking lot. See some ACLU legal observers.
That's why I said.
About 20 officers in the parking lot. There's probably about 10. There's some police support vehicles back there. Ride van, I think, transported him here. Things like that. The march came here very quickly. Sounds like Joey Gibson of the Proud Boys came here. Information still unclear as to the shooting. So it looks like currently they are just cordoning off, basically keeping people out of the Chevron. They're at the edge of the property, at the sidewalk.
Piece of shit racist.
Okay, so
And you guys are protected here.
so it seems like they're providing personal protection for Gibson. Patriot player, very well known in the Northwest, far right.
It's a female.
Situation is tense here.
Fucking warrant, he doesn't have handcuffs. Why is he handcuffed? That's you two down here. Fucking warrant on his ass.
Yeah, they're gonna let them out.
So we're here live. We're outside the Chevron, several blocks from the Justice Center. Pretty sure we just saw Joey Gibson walk. Okay, so I think that's him over there. Probably about 30 plus riot police officers.
I don't know. Let's try to find him real quick. Let's get the fuck out of here. I even tried to call my PO but he didn't answer. Twice.
So as I said, officers are at the edge of the Chevron property, keeping people out, probably about 30 of them. Unclear why Gibson went here. Unsure of what happened that brought the crowd here to follow him as well. Excuse me. Sorry. It does look like he's walking in that direction though. Probably about 6 or 7 police vehicles.
Hey, officer, what's your name?
So I'm gonna. Come through, come through. Details on the shooting are still unclear. Joey Gibson of Patriot Prayer showed up at the shooting site shortly afterwards. I arrived on time shortly after the shooting and went to the site immediately after the Justice Center.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
So we're in Portland, Oregon. This is live video.
Well, the fucking deal is, so to speak, when we came up, and then we get Joey fucking Gibson. How can you not come
So you can see LRAD is right there. Several police vehicles. So march from the Justice Center came here. So there's about 15 officers on this corner, if not more. Hard to tell. They rolled pretty deep these last couple days. Made lots of arrests. Still unclear how many arrests they made last night. They did not update. So when I know, I will update.
How do you spell Nazi? How do you spell Nazi? P-P-P. How do you spell Nazi? P-P-P. How do you spell Nazi? P-P-P. How do you spell Nazi? P-P-P.
So they're coming around the corner here. So you can see riot police, 3 vans, about 2/3 full. So they departed. I did not see Gibson leave, so I don't know if they took him.
Nazi, but they did not see.
I did not see if they took Gibson because I didn't see a vehicle leave. So I don't know how he would have, if he would have just walked out, people would have followed him. So they zipped off on that road that way. Several food trucks near the Chevron location if you're familiar with Portland. Different people eating. Group is reorienting itself and will likely march shortly in a different direction. So it looks like it's regrouping, it's already marching. Okay, back. See, no justice, no peace. F the police. March is moving. I'd say estimate of at least 200 plus. And there's scatterings of people all over downtown as well. If anybody has any hard info, updates on the shooting, any articles, post them in the comments. Something may have been written up by now. You can hear the ACAB chant. Lots of riot cops. I've seen riot cops all over the place. Near the JC, almost on every block, on and off, within 6 blocks of the JC. Also seen police down here, probably at least 6 or 7 locations. Unclear where the march is going, possibly back to the Justice Center. Lots of oncoming traffic, so the march is mostly sticking to the sidewalk right now.
Because, you know, it's like, you just like a grenade, you want to drunk, you know, you're tasting. You get it everywhere, but try to eat it. There's this market right here.
Because I'm talking with a Benson bubbler?
Yeah.
I got a bunch of pepper spray in my hair. It's just getting in my eyeball.
Do you need a neutralizing wipe?
Honestly, yeah.
So somebody had gotten pepper sprayed, it sounded like. There was people, Trump supporters, that were spraying mace and shooting paintballs out of their trucks. There's several videos of this. I posted a few in the comments on a earlier post not long ago, about an hour ago or so. So we're here live in Portland. It's unclear where the march is going. Okay, I'll be back in about 20 seconds. Hold tight. Okay, back again. Extra staying by. If you have any questions about what's been going on in Portland the last 90 plus days, feel free to let me know in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. Unclear where this march is going right now. There's several medics, several ACLU legal observers in the march crowd. So this is part of the cordoned off area where the shooting occurred. The shooting occurred a half block over, but the cops are at this block as well. It's possible that the shooter maybe went into a parking garage or something. Unclear why they are cordoning off this extra half block. There, see, it's cordoned off over there, and there was officers up there earlier. Okay, I pulled the chat up here so I can briefly see what's going on. So there's a few officers. See, no love lost for the police. We're going to be crossing the much larger amount of police over here.
Yeah, bro. I'm about to punch somebody. Don't give Georgia a scooter. Whatever you guys do, don't get me a scooter. I'll run him over with a scooter, bro.
So it looks like this road is not blocked off. So this road was cordoned off over here, but those police vehicles have left. There's a few over here, and that's where the shooting occurred down the street. I'm passing Forever 21 here. Details of the shooting are unclear right now. Mixed reports that the possible victim is dead, but it's unclear if they are white or black. It does sound like both the shooter and the person shot are male, though. Some people that were nearby that I talked to said that they alleged to see a fight that occurred, and then a few shots. All of that's unconfirmed, but that's talking to people that were nearby. Of course, I was not there, so we're gonna have to wait and see. Don't want to spread any misinformation. So very vague reports of what's all happening with that. So we're just about to the downtown Justice Center Federal Courthouse area, so it does seem like the march is going back to there. But all day in Clackamas, from about 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, there was a very large rally of Trump people with trucks and vehicles, lots of Trump flags, lots of memorabilia, things like that, and they rallied there. They then drove to downtown. Their path was obstructed and blocked at several locations, including the highway, and then people blocking in the streets as they were getting downtown. Once they got downtown, one of them shouted the N-word to somebody. I saw it in a video, or heard it myself. A couple different individuals shot people with paintball guns, or with pepper balls, or steel balls. So we're just about back to the Justice Center. You can still hear the helicopter overhead, which is a common thing you can hear, especially on the weekend. After that occurred, there's reports of a shooting. It's about 2 blocks from the Justice Center and the Federal Courthouse, about 3 blocks from the Justice Center. And reports are extremely mixed on what happened, the shooting. About 1 person was shot, possibly killed, but it's very unclear. So group has definitely gone back to the parks here. So you can see, you can smell this is some fresh paint, some fresh spray paint here. Ted the Weasel for the reparations are coming. This one says repent. Really fresh spray paint. You can it's pretty harsh right there. Making my way back. So we're now in front of the Federal Courthouse. Hold up for 1 second. So now in front of the courthouse. Looks like most of the people are in the parks. The graffiti underneath that sign has kind of been cleared. Fence is still up here, if anybody is wondering. They have see no secret police. All feds are right there. So it looks like some of the stuff has been cleaned up in there. Fence is still here. Minimal attempt to clean anything. These barricades are still here. Some skateboarders here on the street. Heavy crowd, pretty sizable crowd in the park right now. March just returned here. Only minimal presence on the street here. So you can see Black Lives Matter sign here. This is the so-called sacred fence, the fence in front of the federal courthouse. So like I said, huge, very large, probably 1,000+ people. Trump caravan of vehicles. There's also a large caravan of boats today. Unclear where they ended up. But several incidents of violence and racism from that caught on video as well as witnessed by many people. They were driving around downtown. You can see they still have the giant spotlights up here. And after that shooting, the riot police basically followed the Black Lives Matter crowd around. So that's the Justice Center. I'm gonna make my way, I'm gonna show you the memorial again. Memorial is up. Large grouping in the park. At the march getting back. So this is the nightmare elk. And this is a ongoing memorial for those lost and murdered by police. You can see some flowers, some new flowers, some old flowers. The signs rotate. I don't see a lot of signs there. I wonder if some of them were destroyed or messed with today. It's possible, given events. The sign says stop the killing. It says resist. Enough is enough. It does look like this was partially destroyed sometime today. Unclear how that happened. This is generally protected about 24/7, so that is not good, obviously. You can see this was put up by some activists a couple weeks ago. You can see Tamir Rice, Michael Brown, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Alton Sterling. And this is Patrick Kimmons. Patrick Kimmons was killed here in Portland a couple of years ago. His mother has come down to protest every Thursday, as well as many of the nightly protests and daily protests around the city, continuing to fight for justice for her son. If you haven't followed my streams before, this is Johnny Dangers live in Portland, Oregon. 90+ days of sustained Black Lives Matter protests. I've given a couple recaps of what's happened today. Shooting details are still unclear. You can see looking back there, there's lots of people in the park in front of the federal courthouse. Less in the park in front of the Justice Center right now, but that's the memorial that you can see from afar that we just went to. We just came back from a march. Patriot Prayer, Joey Gibson. Seemed like he got police protection. It's unclear if they brought him somewhere. Last week, Patriot Prayer and many from several far-right groups, white supremacist groups, of different factions, were here in front of the Justice Center over there. This is the park that's mostly empty right now, and extreme scenes of violence. Somebody threw an improvised explosive. It landed somewhere right over here. This is mostly empty, so actually I'll come over here and tell some of you that may not know, or a little bit more of a first-hand perspective of what happened last week, Saturday. So this park was packed with counter-protesters, people from the community who were here to stand up against the far right and them bringing that violence into Portland. Many of them live across the border from here in Oregon, in Washington. So this is the front of the Justice Center building, and it is boarded up, so it doesn't usually look like this. So the far right is set up here on the street. The snack van was kind of where the edge of this vehicle was, and they were shooting people with bear mace, with pepper spray, throwing things at the crowd. They had baseball bats, batons, and they were beating people for going on 3+ hours, shooting people with paintballs. And this is where Sweeney, if you saw that picture of the gun, he was standing, I'll just go over here. I think he was standing, by my recollection, probably about right over here. So the Justice Center, where the police, this is literally the police building, is right there. You can see there's a door built into that fake front. And he was here facing this direction. This entire park was full of people, and this is where he was pointing the gun. So if you saw that picture with the gun, this is kind of what he was looking at. Just full of people, crowd completely full of people pointing that gun. He's still not been arrested. Has not been charged. Nobody from that day has been charged with a crime. Not a single person that I have heard of. Except later that night, people did the nightly Black Lives Matter protest and march. Police claim to have no resources during the day, which was absurd because later at night, they came in mass, shut down a bridge, blocked the bridge, and then later on arrested, I think, 25 people, Black Lives Matter protesters. So they directly contradicted themselves almost immediately. So somewhere in this general vicinity, also that day, last Saturday, a far-right person threw a improvised explosive into the crowd. It landed somewhere in this general area, about 10 feet from where I was standing. It was not aimed at me, but it landed about 10 feet from me. It exploded. And I lost my hearing for about 10 or 15 minutes. I could hear very faintly after a short little initial bit, and then it came back. But it landed and it exploded right below this guy who was standing over it, and he had his arm burned and injured. And I thought, real time, I thought that the guy hit. His arm was blown off, or potentially he was going to die, because the explosion was so loud. So group is mostly staying up here in the park, kind of milling around, talking to folks. People still arriving. You can see the fence is still up. The feds are still in town. The feds have come out, Homeland Security, U.S. Marshals, other feds under mostly Homeland Security have come out mostly around the ICE building, where people have gathered 3 or 4 times. They used a green gas the last time I was there. I have footage of that I've posted, and I have photo albums. If you haven't followed my work before, I'm posting report backs, photo albums, live videos. And I want to say I've been here for going on maybe 40 days, maybe longer. But the local journalists have been here for the entire time, and they're doing a very good job, the independent, especially the independent journalists, the press out here, under really messed up situations. Many of them have got arrested. All of them have dealt with tear gas and getting shot with pepper balls and sprayed and all of these things. And many of those things I have as well. Fortunately, I have not been arrested. I was picked up and thrown back by the police one night. Obviously, there's the Black Lives Matter protesters get smoke, tear gas, all of these things almost on a nightly basis. But I want to say for people listening, most of the protests, many of them by number are during the day. There's youth protests. There's a children's march that's 2 times Tuesday and Sunday, where little kids will come with their families. There's sign waving events. Unfortunately, there's been incidents of violence at these. There's a sign waving event today, and I don't have all of the details, but somebody was assaulted and had to go to the hospital, and it was just a simple Black Lives Matter sign waving event on a corner. And I'll update with more details on tomorrow when I know on that. But somebody I know talked to the individual, and they were in the hospital getting checked out. And I hope for their recovery. I hope they're not too badly injured. Just for, standing up and holding a sign that says Black Lives Matter. And it's not something that should happen anywhere. Shouldn't happen in Portland. Shouldn't happen anywhere in America. There was an incident where a friend of mine told me, so the Trump caravan was coming down the streets into downtown and the highway, and there was a person in drag, and they were targeted and harassed and guns pointed at them by people in the Trump caravan. Trump flags, bumper stickers, things like that are very noticeable, obviously, all caravanning together. That was today. Obviously, I said somebody, and I heard in the video, yelled the N-word as they were leaving in a vehicle at the crowd. They opened up and shot people with paintballs or pepper balls. That's on video. On Twitter, a local organizer and activist named Tuesday got shot with those paintballs or pepper balls. And he also said that people had been maced or pepper sprayed from Trump supporters just hours ago. So that's the federal courthouse. Fence is still up, as I've said. People seem to still be mulling around in the park. So I'm going to make my way back here. Some people were arrested. There were several street fights and incidents that happened. So it looks like there's a basketball hoop. So, basketball hoops set up. No ball though. So, I'm gonna make my way to the corner here. So I'm gonna look through the chat. Look through the chat here. If there are any questions, I'm gonna go through them right now. So let me know where you're watching from, but if you have any questions. So, like I said, mixed reports on who was shot, if it was a black man or a white man. It does sound like the police were looking for a male shooter, though. So this is the federal courthouse here. Side fence is still all the way up. Okay, so you can hear the crowd has kind of regained its strength here. There was a real quick march. I think people were tired out for just a quick second there. You can hear they're chanting Black Lives Matter again. I think I can recognize the voice of one of the black organizers. So you can hear the Black Lives Matter chant. So we're here. So we're here in front of the federal courthouse. We're gonna do the Whose Streets, Our Streets chant. People taking to the street now. Your group is chanting Whose Streets, Our Streets. You okay? Did they arrest you earlier?
Yeah, all is well. Yeah, they just let me out.
You're out though?
Yeah,
Okay.
all is well.
Well, you look okay, so that's good.
Are you trouble, man?
So yeah, I just saw one of the people that was arrested earlier today, not long ago. It looks like they got out already. Somebody tried to instigate a fight with them, and they were arrested. They were arrested while on a bridge, kind of stopping the flow of traffic, the Trump caravan from getting into downtown. You can hear the chant saying, "Say his name." Say his name, Quanese Hayes. Okay, that's not.
Do you have any?
to the clay.
So making my way so you can see.
March to the clay. March to the clay. March to the clay. March to the clay.
So, group is mostly here in front of the federal courthouse, rallying right now. Unclear what the plans are for the rest of the night. So I'm gonna take this feed down. So show you some thoughts about the mayor. Says F. Ted Wheeler. See Black Lives Matter. You can either say her name, Breonna Taylor. So thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting all the local Black Lives Matter activists, organizers, as well as the local media and press here in Portland, who have done a tremendous job under extreme conditions. You can see, say her name, Breonna Taylor. You can see a Black Lives Matter flag right there. So I'm gonna bring this feed down. If you don't already, you can follow me on here when I go live or post photo albums, things like that. You will see them. Make sure to support your local journalists as well, your local media. And I may be back later tonight. We will see how the night goes. It's still fairly early. Peace, love, solidarity. This is Johnny Dangerous reporting live from Portland, Oregon, after 90 plus days of sustained Black Lives Matter protests. And as I've said, I will update you on the shooting when I have confirmed information. Beyond that, I'll keep on posting photos and videos of incidents, what happened with the Trump caravan coming into downtown Portland. And I'll be back later tonight if the march goes somewhere, if people rally and something happens. This is Johnny Dangerous reporting out.